stop scrolling, because what happens in this story will touch your heart in ways you don't expect. Imagine a billionaire, a man with everything money can buy: cars, yachts, private jets, walking past a single mother who has nothing but her dignity and a desperate plea, "Please save my daughter." What he does next will not only shock you but also remind you what true wealth really means. Let me take you into their world. Ethan Marshall was known in the city as the coldest billionaire alive. He had built his empire from scratch after being abandoned as a teenager, and his success left him hardened, distrustful, and distant. People admired him, but they also feared him. He didn't believe in charity, thinking most sob stories were scams. But one rainy night, as his black limousine pulled up outside the emergency room of a city hospital, he overheard a voice that cut deeper than anything he had ever felt. A young woman, soaked to the skin, clutching a small bundle of papers, stood by the hospital doors begging the receptionist. Her voice was trembling. "Please, my daughter needs this surgery. She's only 6. I'll work, I'll clean, I'll scrub floors for the rest of my life, just don't let her die." The receptionist gave her a tired look and shook his head. The surgery cost more than she could ever hope to pay, and the hospital had already turned her away twice. Ethan should have walked past. That's what he always did. But something made him stop. Maybe it was the way her shoulders shook as she whispered prayers between her sobs. Maybe it was the little pink backpack at her feet with one broken strap. Or maybe it was because, deep inside, he remembered being young and desperate once too, standing in the rain with no one to help. The mother's name was Maria. She had been working 2 jobs since her husband abandoned her, and her daughter Lily had been diagnosed with a rare heart condition. Insurance wouldn't cover it. Every door she knocked on closed in her face. Ethan watched her for a long moment before walking over. His deep voice startled her. "How much does the surgery cost?" Maria looked up, eyes wide, unsure whether to trust him. She whispered the number, her voice breaking. Ethan didn't flinch. He had spent that much on a single dinner before. But what shook him wasn't the cost, it was the raw, pleading love in her eyes. Without another word, he pulled out his phone and made a call. Within minutes, the top surgeon in the state was summoned, and the hospital staff who had dismissed Maria suddenly scrambled to prepare. Maria couldn't stop crying. She tried to kiss his hands, but Ethan pulled away awkwardly. He wasn't used to gratitude. He wasn't used to feeling anything. Still, he stayed that night, watching through the glass as Lily was wheeled into surgery. For the first time in decades, Ethan prayed. Hours passed. Finally, the surgeon emerged with a tired smile. The operation had been a success. Maria collapsed to the floor in relief, sobbing into her hands. Ethan felt something inside him shift, like a door opening he had long ago locked shut. He could have left right then. He had done his part. But when he saw Maria fall asleep in the waiting chair, her face pale with exhaustion, he couldn't bring himself to walk away. Over the next weeks, Ethan quietly paid not just for Lily's treatment but also for therapy, medication, and even the rent Maria was behind on. He never announced it, never told a soul. But each time he visited, Lily would smile at him with that innocent light children have, and call him Uncle Ethan. That word uncle hit him harder than any business deal ever had. As Lily grew stronger, Maria insisted on paying Ethan back somehow. She baked bread, cooked homemade meals, and once brought him a single flower in a chipped vase. At first, Ethan dismissed it, but eventually, he realized something. Maria wasn't giving him money, she was giving him the kind of care and humanity he hadn't felt in years. She treated him not like a billionaire, but like a man who mattered. But not everything was smooth. Rumors began to spread. People accused Maria of trapping Ethan, chasing wealth. Even Ethan's business partners mocked him for wasting time on a poor single mother. Ethan faced a choice: protect his image, or stand by the woman and child who had already healed parts of his soul. For the first time, Ethan chose heart over pride. One night, in front of his entire boardroom, he declared, "The greatest investment I ever made wasn't in stocks or real estate. It was saving a little girl's life. And if you think compassion is weakness, then you don't understand strength." The room fell silent. From that moment on, Ethan wasn't just known as a ruthless billionaire, he was known as a man who cared. Months later, Lily ran into his arms at a school play, her heart stronger than ever. Maria stood nearby, tears glistening in her eyes. Ethan realized that night that his life had been empty not because he lacked wealth, but because he lacked connection. He didn't just save Lily and Maria had saved him too, and here's the message you need to hear. Sometimes the greatest riches are not found in bank accounts or business empires, but in the lives we touch and the love we give. Ethan Marshall walked into that hospital a billionaire, but he walked out truly wealthy.